Thrillers never fail to entertain, and Amazon Prime Video has some of the best movie picks in this genre. The streaming platform's library has everything fans of tense stories want, from classics to modern hits. Prime Video's thrillers are also diverse when it comes to subgenres, featuring sci-fi thrillers, action, dystopian tales, and everything in between. Movies like James Cameron's timeless The Terminator and Steven Spielberg's sci-fi epic War of the Worlds are among this month's highlights. The depth of the service's catalog can be intimidating, but this guide is updated monthly to highlight some of the best thriller movies on Prime Video right now. The Grey, 2012. Liam Neeson is no stranger to action thrillers, but The Grey is among his best from the 2010s. Directed by Joe Carnahan and adapted from a short story by co-writer Ian Mackenzie Jeffers called Ghost Walker, the plot sees Neeson's marksman on a punishing survival mission in Alaska. After the death of his wife, the jaded John Ottaway, Neeson is hired as a sharpshooter at a remote Alaskan oil facility. John must give everything he can to protect himself and a group of stranded oilmen from a stalking pack of gray wolves. The Grey is a must-watch for fans of survival-themed thrillers, with Liam Neeson's performance elevating an already tense story. The atmosphere and Neeson's role complement the movie's straightforward premise, but it also offers some poignant commentary on humanity's relentless spirit.
Listen, get up, get up!
Don't move. Stare right back at him.
Atomic Blonde, 2017. Outright action thrillers aren't the box office draws they once were, but movies like Atomic Blonde show they'll always have a place in the medium. Directed by David Leitch, Deadpool 2, The Fall Guy, the movie follows elite MI6 agent Lorraine Broughton, Charlize Theron, on a covert mission in Germany the night before the Berlin Walls fall. Broughton must retrieve a sensitive dossier of double agents and dismantle a spy ring. Atomic Blonde's story is rather straightforward, but it's all it needs to be thanks to Theron's dynamic performance. She sells the character's cunning nature, and the stylistic action scenes evoke sequences from the John Wick franchise.
Gave up everything for her.
I need a favor, brother. You're the only one I trust for this.
No Time to Die, 2021. Daniel Craig is among the best James Bond actors, and No Time to Die is a fitting send-off. Directed by Cary Joji Fukunaga, this spy thriller sees Bond's tranquil life interrupted when CIA agent Felix Leiter, Jeffrey Wright, recruits him on a mission to rescue a scientist. The mission has even darker implications as it becomes a race against time to prevent a shadowy villain, Rami Malek, from deploying a deadly weapon. While it can't measure up to the likes of Casino Royale or Skyfall, Fukunaga's No Time to Die is an epic swan song for Craig's character. Packed with elaborate action set pieces and an emotional story, the movie brings James Bond's character arc full circle. Looper, 2012, for fans craving an original sci-fi story, Looper is a must-watch romp. Directed by Rian Johnson, Star Wars, The Last Jedi, Knives Out, the plot is set in 2044 when contract killers dubbed Loopers execute targets that have been sent back in time in order to dispose of their bodies. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, is making a healthy living as a hitman until his crime syndicate decides to tie loose ends by having him kill his future self, Bruce Willis. Looper earned critical praise for its creative premise and action sequences. Director Rian Johnson flexes his sci-fi muscles in this thriller, telling an exciting and sincerely clever story without relying on the weight of a franchise.
Time travel crap just fries your brain like an egg.
The Raid, 2012, Western movies like the John Wick series further popularized extended, bombastic action sequences. Even so, 2011's The Raid, Redemption is one of the best action thrillers to date. Directed by Gareth Evans, the plot revolves around an Indonesian police squad tasked with raiding a brutal crime lord's apartment block. Deep in the slums of Jakarta and outnumbered by violent criminals, the tactical squad must brute force their way through the building. The Raid, Redemption was critically praised for the movie's relentless, but tight pacing, taking the all-killer, no-filler approach. The action is over-the-top violent and incredibly well choreographed to match.
Do you want to be my friend?
Of course.
Now the question is, how does she feel about you?
Do you think about me when we are together?
Ex Machina, 2015, from Studio A24, Ex Machina is one of the most underrated sci-fi movies of the 2010s. The sci-fi thriller is directed by Civil War's Alex Garland. The plot sees Caleb Smith, Domhnall Gleeson, win a competition to spend a week at Blue Book CEO Nathan Bateman's, Oscar Isaac, mountain retreat. However, Caleb finds himself roped into an increasingly uncomfortable experiment on the world's most sophisticated artificial intelligence, Alicia Vikander. Ex Machina earned critical acclaim for its clever take on AI-themed science fiction and cerebral stories. It's not the sci-fi thriller most audiences would expect, as it uses its small-scale setting to make the tension between the three co-leads all the more palpable.
Did you give her sexuality as a diversion tactic?
This is your insecurity talking. This is not your intellect.
Did you know that I was brought here to test you?
Cape Fear, 1962. Cape Fear is a classic psychological thriller and one of the most influential movies of the 1960s. Directed by J. Lee Thompson, the story revolves around small-town lawyer Sam Bowden, Gregory Peck, who finds himself and his family tormented by ex-convict Max Cady, Robert Mitchum. Cady returns determined to exact his revenge on Bowden for convicting him 20 years earlier. Cape Fear earned critical acclaim for its riveting atmosphere, bolstered by the dynamic between Gregory Peck and Robert Mitchum's characters. Thompson's direction mirrored the scores, camera techniques, and suggestive violence used by Alfred Hitchcock.
Kill him.
My turn. Right.
is vengeance.
V for Vendetta, 2006. Aside from superheroics, DC Comics is known for some exciting crime thrillers that break the mold. James McTeague directs the live-action adaptation of Alan Moore, David Lloyd, and Tony Ware's V for Vendetta, set in an alternate United Kingdom under the thumb of fascist rule. The plot revolves around V, Hugo Weaving, an anarchy-driven vigilante determined to free society from its totalitarian vice grip, and Evie Hammond, Natalie Portman, who becomes wrapped up in the vigilante's freedom-fighting efforts. As one of DC's most successful comics from its Vertigo imprint, McTeague's adaptation was praised for translating Moore's politically challenging themes to the big screen. Backed by striking cinematography and compelling performances from its co-leads, V for Vendetta also makes for an entertaining dystopian movie.
I suddenly had this feeling that everything was connected. We're all part of it. And the only thing that scares me is Kaiser Soze.
The Usual Suspects, 1995. The Usual Suspects is one of the most unpredictable crime thriller stories from the 1990s. Directed by Bryan Singer, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Usual Suspects depicts the aftermath of a massacre told through the interrogation of Roger Kint, Kevin Spacey, the heist's only survivor. The rest of the narrative unravels into the complex web of events that lead them to that fateful event on a docked ship in Los Angeles. The Usual Suspects garnered praise for its inventive storytelling approach. It combined flashbacks and character narrations to tell a non-linear story without confusing audiences. This is, of course, all backed by a terrific ensemble performance and one of the best examples of subverting expectations in film.
Keaton always said, I don't believe in God, but I'm afraid of him. Well, I believe in God.
Thank you, Clary. Thank you.
The Silence of the Lambs, 1991, equal parts horror and crime thriller. The Silence of the Lambs is one of the most acclaimed 1990s movies. Directed by Jonathan Demme and adapted from Thomas Harris's 1988 novel, the movie follows FBI trainee Clarice Starling, Jodie Foster, as she tracks down a gruesome serial killer dubbed Buffalo Bill, Ted Levine. The grisly murderer has proven incredibly elusive, forcing Clarice to seek the help of imprisoned and cannibalistic serial killer Hannibal Lecter, Anthony Hopkins. The Silence of the Lambs is a concise psychological crime thriller, elevated by a harrowing plot and Foster and Hopkins' performances. The Oscar-winning portrayals of Clarice and Hannibal maintain a constant, unnerving tension.